You are probably using artificial intelligence wrong. If you type into a text box the same way you text a human coworker, you are setting yourself up to fail. Most people treat large language models like a magic 8-ball. You type a vague request like, "Write me a website," shake the digital ball, and hope the answer is usable. Those open-ended requests are the exact reason your results sound robotic, generic, or completely miss the mark. The machine isn't failing, it simply lacks specific instructions. This diagram illustrates how AI outputs are non-deterministic. A non-deterministic system is where the exact same input can produce entirely different, unpredictable results every time you run it. Feed a vague text prompt into the black box, and it splits into dozens of randomized, low-quality paths. But replace that vague request with specific data constraints, and the model is forced to collapse those possibilities into a single, high-quality result. The quality of the output isn't tied to the intelligence of the AI. It relies entirely on the precision of the operator typing the instructions. Stop thinking like a consumer. Start thinking like a developer. This is the practice of prompt engineering. Computer science researchers recently documented that prompt engineering is a legitimate form of software programming. It is a structured methodology used to enforce strict rules and customize how the model generates its text. This diagram shows the architectural difference between developer and user messages. The developer block provides the system's business logic, acting like a function definition. The user block is simply the variable argument. Standard chat windows bypass this foundational developer layer entirely. Treating your prompts like executable code rather than conversational text gives you direct control over the underlying behavior of the system. This diagram illustrates how to use Markdown and XML tags to build strict logical boundaries. XML uses structural tags to define where data begins and ends. Wrapping reference documents in these tags prevents the model from confusing overarching command instructions with the raw data. Formatting your instructions is only the first step. Demonstrating the action you want is vastly superior to simply describing it. This technique is called few-shot learning. It is the process of inserting 2 or 3 concrete examples of inputs and their desired outputs directly inside the prompt to establish a clear pattern for the model to follow. If you ask a model to categorize customer reviews by sentiment using a basic zero-shot prompt, meaning 0 examples, it will likely give you inconsistent formatting. Provide 3 perfectly mapped examples of positive and negative reviews first, and it locks into the exact format you need. Combining structural boundaries with literal examples stops the machine from guessing what you want and forces it to adopt your exact parameters. Not all models process language the same way. Different systems possess different internal cognitive architectures, meaning they require entirely different prompting strategies. Think of standard GPT models as junior coworkers. They perform at their absolute best when you give them highly explicit, step-by-step formatting and rigid instructions to execute a task. This diagram compares that junior approach to a reasoning model, acting like a senior coworker. The junior model processes a detailed checklist sequentially. The senior model generates its own internal chain of thought to analyze the complex task and figure out the steps. The words you type only matter if they match the system reading them. Understanding which architectural model you are deploying is required to get a usable result. AI possesses no intrinsic magic.
It is strictly a computational tool, and like any heavy machinery, it sits dormant and useless until a skilled operator physically engages the controls. Researchers have dedicated alignment teams who steer the parameters of these models from the inside. You are entirely responsible for steering its utility from the outside. Applying these precise engineering principles takes a generic conversational chatbot and turns it into a bespoke software engine tailored exactly to your custom workflow. This checklist outlines your next prompt. First, assign a developer role to establish the business logic. Second, use XML or Markdown to build clear data boundaries. Third, include a few-shot example to demonstrate the exact output format. You have to stop typing open-ended questions and hoping for magical results. It is time to start deliberately engineering them.